Hello everybody, welcome to an episode of The Gun Counter where we talk about guns and gear. My name is Fernie, and if you're new here, I want to welcome you to our channel, and I really hope you enjoy our content. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. So today, we're going to be diving into the brand new Springfield Armory Hellcat RDP, also known as Rapid Defense Package, and boy do we have a lot to talk about. All right, let's get into this box. So the first thing that you're gonna get is a soft case, which the gun comes in, as well as a magazine loading assist tool to help you load those magazines easier. Let's get the gun out. You get the Hellcat RDP, which comes with their new compensator and their new red dot, as well as their upgraded trigger. You also get two magazines. One's gonna be an 11 round magazine, as well as a 13 round magazine. Both of them have pinky extensions, so that way you can get your full grip on the pistol. Under this flap, you get a baggie of goodies that comes with a bunch of tools. You get a base plate for your magazine in case you want it to fit flush with the frame, a thread protector for the threaded barrel, some hex keys so that way you can adjust your red dot if you need to zero it or take it off so you can swap out batteries, and it looks like a protective plate to cover the cutout on the slide. So if you don't know anything about the Hellcat, it is Springfield Armory's micro compact offering after the SIG P365 was released. It comes in a very small package, but you can fit a lot of rounds in the double stack magazines. The Hellcat has become very popular with consumers over the years, but Springfield Armory decided to do some revisions for the RDP. Starting from front to back, you now get a compensator made out of 8082 aluminum. It is self-indexing, which means that you don't need any shims or set screws to properly align that compensator. They achieve this with a lever on the bottom of the compensator that clicks into the cutout on the bottom of the barrel. Quick note on the compensator, it is easier to press a lever on the bottom and turn the gun instead of turning the compensator onto the gun. And the manual does say that you're supposed to screw on the compensator until it stops, and then unscrew the compensator counterclockwise until you hear that very satisfying click. The compensator screws onto the 3.8-inch barrel, which is cold hammer forged and threaded in half by 28. So if you wanted to put a suppressor on this for some range time fun, you could. You also have a peephole on top, so that way you can see when you have a round chambered. Now onto the red dot sight, which is Springfield Armory's very own Hex Wasp. The Hex Wasp comes with the 3.5 MOA dot, at least at the brightest setting. It is made out of 6061 T6 aluminum and is IPX7 waterproof rated. The red dot does co-witness with the iron sights, which is pretty cool. And for the iron sights, you get what's traditionally on the Hellcat, the high vis front sight with a tritium insert and the U-notch rear. The Wasp is powered by a single CR2032 battery and lasts up to 65,000 hours. That's at least on the lowest setting. According to Springfield Armory, more realistically, you'll see 2 years of battery life. The red dot is always on, so you can't turn it off or adjust the brightness because it has an auto dimming feature. So the auto feature is nice. Whenever you cover your red dot, it dims down, and whenever you're out in bright ambient light, it'll brighten up for you. There is a noticeable lag whenever it makes adjustments, but it's not too big of a deal. It's just something that I would like to see them change in the future. The red dot also has the same footprint as the Shield RMSC, so if you like that red dot, you can put it on no problem, even though this red dot looks like a redesigned Shield RMSC. It's got some nice serrations on the side, so that way you can use your red dot to pull the slide back, as well as some anti-glare cutouts on the side, so that way you don't get distracted whenever you're shooting it. The anti-reflective and scratch-resistant glass is parallax-free, but you do notice some distortion around the edges when you point it at a target. You may see the target either shrink or warp around the edges. It's not that big of a deal. You do get used to it after some use. So the RDP now comes with the Gen 2 trigger, which is much better than their first one. For those of you who don't know, the original Hellcat had problems with the trigger. Some would even say that it was dangerous. I haven't experienced this myself on the old Hellcats. If I were to purposefully press the trigger at an angle, I would get that trigger to lock up, and no matter what you did, you wouldn't be able to get it to break. For all you Hellcat fans out there, yes, you can fix the problem by pressing the trigger properly, but you got to think that a lot of people out there might have different hands, their fingers are too short, they don't press the trigger properly or can't press the trigger properly, and that was the biggest problem with the old Hellcat. So with the new Gen 2 trigger, it seems like they fixed the problem. No matter what I did, I couldn't get the trigger to seize up. Even if I came at it at an angle, I could get the trigger to break every single time. I think they fixed this by cutting a steeper angle on the safety tab where it makes contact with the frame. So that way, no matter what you do, you can't get that trigger to stick. and it'll always break. Other than that, it still feels like the old Hellcat trigger. There wasn't any reduction in weight. And just so I can show you guys, you still have some over travel and a very distinctive wall, a little bit of mush, and the brake. And for the reset, you have a very tactile reset. I love that. And you're back on the wall again. The Hellcat RDP retails for $899. You can relate it to the Hellcat OSP with the shield red dot on top, which retails for $799. So for $100 more, you're getting the compensator and the newer Hex Wasp red dot. The Hellcat RDP does come in a thumb safety model as well as the non-thumb safety model. Now for some concerns that I have with the RDP, mostly with the red dot, but also with the compensator. So with the compensator, I did notice 3 audible click positions as you're unscrewing the compensator. And I know the manual does say to screw it all the way to the end and then unscrew it 1 turn, so that way it clicks into place. But if you accidentally turn the compensator to a different indexing point, I'm curious to see how that would change the point of impact. All right, so my concerns with the red dot. Now we all know that the Trijicon RMR is a staple for durability, but since this is gonna be carried as a self-defense pistol or concealed carry pistol, you wanna make sure that your red dot is durable. So I'm curious to see if the aluminum would protect the glass if you happen to drop your gun on the top of the red dot itself. I don't wanna say that the glass will break. I do wanna say that the aluminum housing looks to be too thin to protect the glass properly, but I'm gonna be taking the RDP out to the range to test the compensator to see how it works on a micro compact gun, as well as the red dot to test it out and maybe do a light durability test. I'm really glad that manufacturers are starting to realize what consumers want on their carry guns. Compensators are really popular to mitigate recoil, so if you don't know anything about micro compact pistols, they're very snappy. So for Springfield Armory to include a compensator on the Hellcat now is really cool. I can't wait to take it out to the range. I'm sure it's gonna mitigate a lot of the recoil and make it more comfortable to shoot. So at the time that this video is being shot, Springfield Armory doesn't have a compensator and barrel upgrade for your old Hellcats, but I hope that they release those in the future. That way you don't have to spend $900 on an RDP when you already have a Hellcat sitting at home. Overall, I think that Springfield Armory did a good job with the RDP. I will say this, I've never been a fan of the Hellcat, but with the compensator on front, it does look pretty cool. All right guys, well that's it for this video. If you're still watching, I wanna thank you for sticking all the way to the end. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe because it does help me out and it helps the channel grow, as well as leave a comment for the algorithm so that way more people can see this video. All right, well it was fun talking with you. Thanks for sticking around and I'll see you next time.